Hey, good morning. This is Dr. Prodigal. It's been a minute since I got with you. I'm just observing quite a few things. Oftentimes, I sit at the desk of my study and I think, and as I'm praying, I'll hear things or I'll see things. Well, there's something else that I've seen as well. I just saw an article early this morning. Sometimes I'm up 3 in the morning, between 3 and 6, just to pray. That's just something that I felt led to do, and I didn't realize that it's actually biblical to be in that hour in prayer. But I saw an article that spoke of a church in the Philippines that went to, I think it was a gay pride celebration or parade, but they showed up. They didn't show up like Westboro Baptists or even some of the other people that may not be as offensive and brutal as Westboro Baptists and hateful for that matter. They showed up with banners that said that they apologize to that community for the way they've treated them. They didn't show them love, and they were really apologetic about it. And as I read the article, it says some of the people that were there, and they stopped, they read, they looked, and many of them started tearing up because that's all they wanted was love. So last night we had a nice Bible study someplace, and one of the subjects was God. Who is it? It said God is love. And then they asked, well, what's love got to do with it? Well, what's love and what's not love? But you know, when God is love, then that means everybody. Love is an action that you love everybody. That doesn't mean that you agree with it. That doesn't even mean that you support it. But it is saying that we are to love it. And this one church came and said that they're sorry. Well, the LGBTQ, I still don't have it right yet, after all this time, community, they're not the only ones that the church hasn't shown love on. I'll give you an example. You have churches that they consider themselves open to everybody, but when you go in there, you may be the only one that don't look like them. And that's on many different cultures. Black, white, Latino, Asian, it doesn't matter. How much love are you really showing to anyone? That neighbor of yours that you won't speak to because they're, in your mind, a drug user or a rocker or, heavy metal headbanger, or even, okay, brothers, let me come to you. Bruh, man across the street got a Confederate flag up, and you won't even speak to him. How much love is that? So not only did this church set a precedence that needs to continue with the church, quote unquote, apologizing to people, but they're stepping on people's toes. Because what we don't like, we always want to find something to hate and something to blame. I can take it even into the political game. At one time, it was, you but to watch out for them colored folk. And then next thing you know, it started saying, them Mexicans, didn't say Latino in it. Them Mexicans, they come across the border. You got to watch them. He doing this. Everybody needed something to hate. And the fear that's produced by this. So the culture of fear, as I've always said, does profit from the culture of fear. So how many groups do we, as individuals, disciples of Christ, have to go back and apologize to? I had my rude awakening with the gay community because I can't get these letters together. Why don't you just say something, a word? But my own sister, lesbian. Now, I came up in a Baptist church at that time, beginning ministry, and all those people were going to hell. All of them going to hell. AIDS was God's punishment to gay people. Well, yes, my sister did die of AIDS as well, but it wasn't because of her being a lesbian. It was because of the drug use that she dealt with, and which took her into something because of a molestation that had taken place. So I had to come to grips with that. And I said, well, wait a minute. This is my sister. It was okay for me to listen to all that when it wasn't my own sister or my family or someone in that nature. So, I had to come to grips with that. And what has happened since then? Things have escalated. Now that I know what God says, and I'm not listening to somebody that wants to really bash someone that they're probably scared of. It's not saying that you have to understand, but you don't have to fear anyone either. So I began to apologize. I began to look different places. I began to look and say, well, wait a minute, how have I treated this person? Well, how have I treated these people? Well, did I listen to a lie concerning the whole group of these people? And again, like I said, it started out first, it was, first it was the Indians. Then you had the Chinese, or they called the Chinaman. Then it came a little bit further. Of course, it was always the blacks, and then that stayed there. And then after the blacks, it was the Latinos and certain people. And then after that, here we come with the gay people. And now, guess what? Everybody wants to hate Muslims. Not radical Islamists, but Muslims, period. And that's where I draw the line, because I'm tired of the church hiding behind an empty, no words on the page, blank page, thick Bible with the ribbon and everything else, because there's nowhere in the Bible that says you hate everyone, or you find someone and you just find that one group to hate. The Bible tells us in Galatians 6 and 10 to do good to all men, especially those of the household of faith. And this is coming on the edge of something that's very tragic in my community. There was a woman that lived about 2 doors from me. And I gathered she was married. I would see the guy there, was her husband. But later on, my wife opened the door to that. And she began speaking to her while I was someplace else. I'm trying to think. I was most likely in California or something at the time. But she struck up the conversation. She understood that this lady had, she needed help. She understood that she was in pain. So when I came back, I happened to be driving down the street and I saw her and her husband. I stopped and spoke and said, hey, my wife spoke to you. My name is Ernest, blah, blah, blah. How you doing? And I didn't beat him in the head with the Bible. A month or so went by. We were speaking again. I said, hey, how you doing? Everything was good. I saw the grass was growing. Like I said, she was in pain, a lot of pain. So I just said, look, wait a minute. I'm not even going to go ask her. The grass is growing. It looks like, we got to get some goats out there or get some animals and use it for the African bush. So I just went and cut the grass. Not a problem. And she was just so taken that someone would even care that much. Well, I know what pain is like, especially back pain. And I would do it. And then later on, I would, we got together for a Bible study. We got together. We were talking. I explained how I had been pretty much crippled for a while. And I could only see people walking by or things like that. I was actually in a wheelchair. God is awesome that he heals me. And I'm still looking at healings happening. But, she understood that. I introduced her to some natural remedies to possibly help for pain. But the day before I left to go to Florida last week, we were speaking with her. And she was saying how much pain she was in and she couldn't take it. And something was going on. But I just discovered that people in pain actually kill themselves. And I have never thought about that. But then again, maybe my pain hasn't been at that point. It has been to a point where I've had tears and just curled up in a ball. But she was saying that. And I begged her. I said, don't go looking for anything anywhere. I don't know what happened. But we get a call that there's a coroner there. And I'm like, wow, look at this. Next thing I know, I get another call. And I'm in Florida. And they're taking a body out, a small frame body. I already know who that had to be. My heart sunk with that. As soon as I got back, they said the funeral was that week. 4 days later, the funeral was there. Well, actually, I guess they must have cremated the body. And as I went to celebrate her life, it was a wonderful celebration. Her daughters just came through, and oh my gosh, they spoke so highly. People just loved her for who she was. But yet, and this is where I'm at with this apology again, I listened to the preacher say a little bit, but then concentrate on a thorn that she had in the flesh. We're celebrating her life, not analyzing her death. So I thought about it, and he hinted on some other words that, he putting people in hell. And I didn't say a lot. I just backed up. But my thing with that, the apology had to come because when I got back, I got on social media in the venue that we leave messages for the community. I ain't gonna say neighborhood, but community, because neighbors, we wouldn't have been going through all this. And I wanted to know why no one out of all these houses, I guess maybe, I don't know how many houses in this development, but it's more than 3, no one showed up at a celebration of life. I wanted to apologize for this because I'm part of this community. Everyone knows what went on. We have to apologize to the people that we have not stood by and been Christ-like. I had to apologize to many people that I hadn't been Christ-like. Now this pastor in the Philippines is apologizing. He didn't say he agreed with the lifestyle, he condoned it, or even he participated in any form. But he said that we have to say we're sorry. And I leave you with the thought, St. Francis of Assisi, we had a discussion last night. We have people that if you say hello, they'll give you 12 Bible verses supporting hello. Why don't you just tell me hello? Especially if I'm a sinner or I'm someone that's not a Christian. I'm someone that's really looking toward youth to bring the light. I already know that I'm in need of somebody or something because I know I'm in sin. But if you want to bash and continually point out that that you see is the one thing that God is going to send you to hell on, be careful, because when you pointing out that it in that one person, that person may look at you and point out your its. So before you bash someone, apologize to them, because you're supposed to approach them with love. So why do I say that? God is love. We are made in his image and likeness. Revelation 13:8, the Lamb was slain before the foundation of the world. So now here it is, God has already redeemed all mankind to himself. Yet, to complete the process, he had to send his only begotten son, born of a virgin, because she could not have been touched by a man. Her seed came straight from God. Now, he's born of the virgin. He walks this earth. He completes the life cycle in the form of the sacrificial lamb, and he returns to the Father after he's completed the full born, live, die, buried, raised, and now ascended and seated at the right hand of the Father. No, it's not a spirit there. He is in bodily form, seated at the right hand of the Father. But yet, Jesus, the man part, is in heaven at the right hand of the Father. Christ, the spirit of, is right here with us. I'm loving this. And so when I'm running across people that may believe different than I do, may look different than I do, they may even be hellions, I must exhibit the love of Christ. So from now on, as we're beginning this summer season, let's be careful on who we condemn. Let's really be careful on who we condemn. Maybe we need to offer apologies, because their rejection of us could be because of our refusal to love. God bless you. This is Dr. Prodigal. Give me a shout out. I need to start opening these. I do like the dialogue that I'm receiving. For the most part, the vast majority of it is wonderful. But there are some that's kooks. Not my monkey, not my circus. I'm not going to get into it. If you argue by yourself, then they got places for you. So there's something there. But check me out. Check me out. dr.e.t.davisi@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, question, podcast. Let's reason together. And also, and I'm sorry that I didn't do this earlier, but I will email the people back and ask them if it's possible that I may post their questions and our dialogue in a forum. So I want you to know today, God loves you. I'm not waiting to get to heaven to get my blessings. I'm getting them right now, every day, every breath I take. God bless you. Dr. Prodigal, love you. Enjoy while I go fishing today.